Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. Today we are exploring the Metropolitan Park. This is a massive park. It's essentially what appears to be the entire side of a mountain. There are little aspects of it that you can see right now anyways. That man has touched, especially the pathway. The pathway is all rock, but it's gorgeous. It's you don't run into as many people, definitely no traffic. So today what we're going to talk about is the soul versus the ego and how to know which one is actually guiding you. You know, I never thought that this would be a video I would do or an important video, yet the more I travel this journey, the more it becomes evident to me that this topic is one that I don't think many people truly understand. Even though a lot of the practices and such guide you to the answers that I'm going to give you, I just don't think that the average person necessarily grasps the concept of actually what's being offered and presented to them on this journey. So, that being said, let's get into it. You know, on my personal social media account, I posted a video based on a lot of events that occur and how the strife and the struggle is always from within. It's not external. It's always from within. And the more that you understand that, and the more that you explore self, and the more that you go in to so we talked about inner guru, the more you don't judge it, you understand it, you uncover it, enlighten it, make peace with it, and balance with it, the more that the world around you reflects that back to you. Now, you know, I know a lot of people, they hear this message, especially if they aren't on a spiritual journey, and their reflection back is really the projection of what they do not yet understand. But I'm not here to criticize or judge that. I'm here to give some thoughts and examples around it and why this is the journey that it is. Looks like we're coming into a little interesting little area, maybe like a park rangers area. So we're going to sit over here and we're going to have this discussion. So when I have these conversations, what do I mean? Well, you know, when you finally surrender to the path of your soul, you take on certain aspects of it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you begin to understand that the soul speaks in whispers. It whispers to you. And really the only way to hear those whispers is to put yourself in a position where the mind is quieted in order for the soul to speak. Now, even though the soul speaks in whispers, it's important to understand that as you are able to quiet your mind, the whispers will begin to become slightly more, for lack of a better word, loud, in order for you to be able to better connect with self. Now, they're not going to ever shout and scream, but they will become a bit more resonant for you to understand. And then you'll start to awaken to aspects that people, I think, don't understand in terms of how the universe works and how we are all connected. For instance, they start to awaken to things like synchronicities, and they stop calling these synchronicities coincidences, because they start to understand that even the numerical or mathematical values of the certain coincidences, they're not, they're one in billions. when you start seeing things that are pretty evident that they're meant for you to see at that moment, the odds are extremely small that would happen if it were just an essence of you walking through life and just being a living being and you having no connection to the world around you. And again, this is how the soul speaks to you, and this is how, well, for lack of a better word, Creator speaks to you. Your higher self, God, however you choose to, speak about these concepts. That's how your soul whispers to you in those moments of solitude, of peace, of quiet. So you begin to understand that it's valuable and vital to get to those spaces. And you desire to get to those spaces because you desire that connection. You desire that peace and that calm that are required in order for your soul to speak to you. Now, how does the ego sound? Let's talk about that for a bit. You see, the ego sounds in loud noises. It yells, it screams to you. The ego is all of the thoughts that go through your mind that you don't even know where they came from in some situations. The ego is the screaming from, in some ways, the subconscious to the conscious to try to get you to do its bidding. Now, why do I say that the ego screams? Well, because most of the time when the ego speaks, it speaks in certainties. It speaks in separation. It speaks in manners to continue the belief, the feeling, the thought of separation, that you are an individual and that because you're an individual, you are above or below all things around you. It is the thing that guides us and leads us into tribes, in essence. It is the thing that guides us to judge, guides us to either choose or desire to elevate ourselves above or think we're better than. It is the thing that we're struggling with now in life, because you could see that there is a projection of one side of group of people who think this is the way life should be lived, and another group on the other side saying no, it should be lived like this. And that belief system that both can't exist at the same time, and that if you don't think like me, then you must be my enemy, and that I must fear you and I must hate you. These are all aspects of the ego that shout and scream at you. And then, and many people who are completely unaware, what that projects them to do is shout and scream at other people. And when that occurs, you see much social discord on the journey. You see, the difference in the two is this. The soul, you, who you really are, it's the observer. Eckhart Tolle describes it best as the one who observes the thoughts. And he does a exquisite job of showing you who that is by saying, if you think your thoughts are you, then ask yourself this: what thought will I think of next? And sit back and observe and see what pops into your mind. That observer is your soul. That observer is you. Okay, that observer is the creator. And the other aspect of that is the ego, which is the doer. Well, the doer is the one that says, things aren't perfect the way they are. I have to do something to change them. I have to do something to make them better. I have to do. I can't just sit and experience. I can't just sit and relax. I have to go do something. That is the ego. Now, the beauty in the journey is to learn to balance the two. Because what most people don't understand is they think, well, if you're in your soul, then you're not doing anything. You're just observing. Well, no, that's not completely the case. You see, when you're in your soul, you observe the things that are going on around you. And because you're observing, you're able to observe all aspects of things, both sides of things, both sides of arguments, and all aspects of life. And then what happens is there becomes a moment where you feel like, now I must act on this. And we call that, we call that aspect like guided doership or inspired action. Okay, when inspired action doesn't come from the brain, it actually comes from the heart. At least in my journey, I feel it down here. I feel it in my heart. I feel my intuition pull, my intuition guiding me to take action. And when I feel that, I know that that is the action that I'm supposed to interact in. And so instead of being guided by my thoughts and my mind, which are co-opted a lot by trauma and subconscious programming and the programming of the world around me and my ego, I now begin to be more guided by the soul, by the observer, by being able to observe all of the spectrum and better understand which is the appropriate direction and action to take. So what say you? Have you experienced this on your journey? As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I am truly grateful. Until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. I hope you have the most amazing day.